Click below to watch the original Sins video, or to buy War for the Planet of the Apes, which, by the way, I think is really good, so I'd recommend it. Also, I'm currently stuck using iMovie, but this is the last week of it. That genuinely makes me happy as well. Everything in 15 minutes or less. Wrong spoilers with War for the Planet of the Apes.
All great movies start with blurry. Blurry something.
This joke worked in Lego Batman because it's fairly standard for movies to start with a black screen. A blurry screen, not so much.
Now get ready for some reading.
Also, not sure whether to sin the film thinking the audience needed a previously on these rebooted Apes movies summary, or the too obvious capitalization and font changes on the words rise and dawn.
You're sinning that for being too obvious? Did you think we weren't supposed to notice that?
Sure, the movie has a 93% Rotten Tomatoes rating, but I'm betting it has a 6% on the People Who Get the Bedtime Probonzo reference rating.
Oh, I'm sorry, I must have missed that memo. You know, the memo that told us that movies are only allowed to have subtle nods in them if more than 6% of people get them? I'm sorry, I just wasn't aware of that rule.
Trader apes, or more commonly known as trapes.
This word had A in it. That word had A in it. And that's a sin.
I get having someone yell reload as a military trope, but the guy with the crossbow, who has already reloaded this weapon himself several times, is asking for more arrows? I don't get this at all. And yeah, a trape shows up with more arrows, but I mean, Jesus, have you seen all the explosions? Why is this dude on the front line still firing crossbow arrows? First one was for silence and sneak attack reasons, but now he's just needlessly wasting time on inefficient weaponry.
This isn't some vast, well-funded military operation. This is a group of survivors making do with what they have. And sometimes what you have isn't an automatic weapon, it's just a crossbow. I mean, personally, I've never had either of those things. Like, can you imagine? That's just not a good idea. Also, that last sin really just didn't know what it wanted to be, did it? You started out by talking about the trope of yelling reload on the battlefield, and the actual sin ended up being for using a crossbow. You went on as many narrative tangents as B-movie there.
I did not start this war. The ape who did is dead.
Koba? Even after you killed him last movie, the humans somehow still decided to believe lore over Jason Clarke's character and went to war with the apes? Really? I guess I'm okay with these movies ending in ape-human war, but blaming it all on Koba seems obtuse. You could make just as good a case that it's Caesar's fault, but then I'd have to spend 2 weeks researching and writing and pulling clips from various sources to make an explainer video that most of you wouldn't even watch.
Or you could try explaining it adequately in this I'm okay. I fell off my chair. Right. So what I was saying was maybe you could try explaining it adequately in this video. It wouldn't be that hard. You could just, get one of your team to do the research, which I bet wouldn't take more than, watching the films, which is only, a couple of hours. I don't know why you said 2 weeks in there. And, just explain it in the video. Summarize if you need to, if you think it's getting too long, but you could do that.
Why didn't I see that he could not forgive what humans did to him?
Probably the same kind of blinders the Academy uses to continue refusing you an acting nomination for this mocap brilliance.
This performance is worthy of an Academy Award, and that's a sin. Like, seriously, if you like something, take a sin off once in a while. Personally, I think it always brings something nice to a Sins video when you see a little bit of positivity in there.
Between the flashlights and the green lasers, I guess the human soldiers were instructed to announce their presence seconds or minutes before their actual arrival.
Or perhaps they wanted the gift of sight and the ability to aim, well...
Dude, unless Caesar has gone full X-ape and developed telepathy, I'm pretty sure he'd have to be looking at you to understand the words that are coming out of your hands.
Finally, someone fucking said it. Like, how can you work on a film like this and not notice that? Yeah, Jeremy, that's what you do when you fucking like something. You remove a sin, you big slice of tasty cheese. I don't know where that came from. I've been ad-libbing a lot more in these lately because, well, I enjoy it and I think it makes better content. But that also results sometimes in things like me saying Jeremy is a big tasty slice of cheese. Which I see no problem with. But, originally when I opened my mouth there, I was hoping an insult would come out. Like something playful, nothing, heartfelt. But instead I got something that kind of sounded like I was being weirdly kinky? I don't know. It probably is going to make the final cut, though.
God damn, the mocap work by the actor, Karen Conoval, the CGI by the visual effects artists, the writing of this scene, it all results in one of the most tender moments in any movie this year, and I'm taking a sin off for lovable old Maurice.
You see, there we go. Isn't that so much better than going, oh, this motion capture and this acting and oh, this is all really good? That's worth a sin.
I feel bad for her. This little girl must think life is f***ed up. She's had to see at least 4 dead human bodies in the last 24 hours. She can't talk. Apes have kidnapped her and taken her into a snowy hellscape. Does she think this is normal? Like, everyone goes through this?
Just to be clear, that sin was given because this child who's growing up in a post-apocalyptic war zone is having a life that's not entirely peachy.
So, Bad Ape is slick enough to sneak up without being heard, a good enough rider to outpace Caesar and his most trusted friend soldiers, but dumb enough to just leave stupid-ass footprints leading to his own whereabouts? The movie paints this character with whatever brush it needs in the moment.
Of course, any character that's good at a few things should also inherently have the magical ability not to leave footprints when they walk in the snow.
Hey, how many ape crucifixion scarecrows do you think we need to make our point? Like 5?
Hey Colonel, we've crucified those apes. Should we take them away from the crucifixion site? Even though here they serve as a warning which benefits us, and just leaving them here to reap that benefit would literally be less effort than any alternative? Does that sound like a good idea?
Like,
They know not what they do.
This movie has those 2 words in it. The Bible has those 2 words in it, and that's a sin.
No matter what you say, you'd eventually replace us. That's the law of nature.
Then why is this movie 2 hours and 20 minutes long?
Fucking what?
If he's still alive in the morning, he goes to work like everyone else.
So, you don't care if he lives or dies? You keep going back and forth on this shit. It's starting to piss me off. Are you breaking down their leader so they break down? Or are you just f***ing with their leader and not giving a shit what they do in response?
Apparently nearly freezing him to death and then forcing him into hard labor doesn't count as breaking him down.
He doesn't notice this.
He doesn't notice the ground moving slightly next to his feet? Wow, how unobservant of him.
So, let's go over this primate plan, shall we? First, fling poo with accuracy and timing enough to hit a guard 60 feet up at the exact right moment.
That is not 60 feet. Also, the accuracy isn't at all relevant to this plan. I mean, look how many apes there are there. I'm sure if they missed, someone could muster up enough ammo to try again. And then, timing? In what world is timing relevant to that? He's not moving or anything. There's no way that timing is at all relevant there. Basically, none of that stuff that you just listed as being vital for the apes' plan to succeed was even important to their plan.
Second, hope that the guard takes it personally enough that rather than clean it off, he comes down and opens the freaking pen to confront his attacker. Third, throw more poop, in the hopes that instead of running after the culprit, he will stand still above a pre-designated hole long enough with both legs situated apart perfectly to be pulled underground.
The distance apart that his legs are so incredibly irrelevant to this sin. Yet you list it off as if it's some important detail.
Somewhere along the line, this movie turned into a serious version of Chicken Run, which itself was a play on Stalag 17. My point is that other than the ape angle, this is nothing new. Hell, Maggie organized a daycare breakout just like this on The Simpsons like 20 years ago.
This movie has a breakout/rope crawl in it, and therefore is unoriginal.
I would call out the sudden avalanche as a typical Ex Machina moment, except for one thing. It serves no purpose. Why do all the humans have to die? Caesar wasn't really in danger until he stood up to see it, and we all know the human race is headed towards their demise anyway, so Deus Ex Ineptia?
So a giant fucking explosion just happened at the bottom of that snowy mountain and you were expecting there to not be an avalanche? And then you basically sinned it for being too plot convenient even though it didn't contribute anything to the plot. Nice. You may as well have just said, after this lightning strike there was thunder, but the thunder didn't contribute anything to the plot. So why was the thunder even there? Ugh, such a plot convenience. So, the sin total was 19 sins, which is actually pretty low. And the punishment will be being a big slicey taste of cheese. Yes, a big slicey taste of cheese. Yeah, let's go with that. The punishment is being a big slicey taste of cheese. Fuck it. I'm a little bit pushed for time this week, so there won't be a teaser or an end segment today. But it is time for a quickie review. War for the Planet of the Apes. In my opinion, and I have no idea how many people share this view, it is by far the best of the trilogy. To me, Rise of the Planet of the Apes was alright, but it just kind of felt like a cash grab, you know? I'm fairly sure that the same film wouldn't have done that well if it wasn't connected to a well-established franchise. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes definitely felt like an improvement on that. In my opinion, there was nothing really wrong with it, so to speak, it just didn't stand out that much to me. But then when we came to War for the Planet of the Apes, I was blown away. Although a big stakes war was a huge part of the plot, I felt like the main component of the plot was the war's impact on our main group of characters, and for me that worked really, really well. I must say that one of my favourite elements of the plot was seeing our main characters just horseback ride through the world. Seeing what the Earth has become in this period was really great. I'd love to see a concept like this expanded into a TV show, where we see what kind of thing our main characters encounter on a week-to-week basis. Anyway, those were just my thoughts. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. I don't know what movie I'll be doing next week, but it'll probably be something from the MCU. I'm going to try to do as many Marvel movies as I can before Infinity War comes out. Although that being said, I do want to keep a good balance between Marvel and other content. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed, and goodbye.